Okay, good morning, everybody. We'd like to thank you joining us today. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to you and hope this is a meaningful seminar to you all. I am Misa Kemiya from Green Expo Association. Japan will have International Horticulture Expo 2027, so-called Green Expo 2027. So this is the mascot, very cute, and it will be the first at the rank in Tokyo metropolitan areas to have that big scale of expo with 100 hectares. And we expect more than 70 countries and international organizations to participate, and more 10 million visitors. It's my great pleasure to be MC and moderator today for this discussion. To mark the opening, I'd like to welcome Mr. Kentaro Doi, Vice Minister for Global Environment Affairs, Ministry of Environment, Japan.
Distinguished guests and participants, good morning. I am Doi Kentaro, Vice Minister for Global Environmental Affairs at the Ministry of the Environment of Japan. As climate change and biodiversity loss intensity around the world, the international community must re-examine its relationship with nature. Nature is the foundation of our lives and economic activities, and the importance of nature positive for solving climate change issues goes without saying. Japan has formulated its transition strategies toward a nature positive economy and is accelerating its efforts. This strategy demonstrates that nature positive initiatives are not simply cost burden for businesses, but bring opportunities for new growth rooted in a nature capital-based economy. To realize a nature positive economy, Japan has developed a concrete roadmap outlining the overall path to 2030, specifying what each actor must do and by when. Furthermore, Japan is expanding other effective area-based conservation measures, or OECMs, which certify private sector's involvement in conserving forests, Satoyama landscapes, and urban green spaces, with about 200 sites certified to date. Within this momentum, I am proud to announce that Japan will host the International Horticultural Expo, Green Expo 2027, in the city of Yokohama. Green Expo 2027 will go beyond flowers and horticulture, also focusing on solving global challenges like climate change and biodiversity loss. We believe this will be a unique opportunity for visitors to tangibly experience the latest approaches to concrete nature positive initiatives through familiar flowers and horticulture as a starting point, and to understand how such approaches can synergize with addressing climate change. Today's seminar will examine how various entities should approach nature positivity and how to create synergies with climate change. I sincerely hope that this will be a time of meaningful learning and discovery for everyone, and that it will generate momentum for Green Expo 2027. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for sharing Japanese policy and activities in Japan. He mentioned about Satoyama. That is really coexisting space between human and also nature. We call Satoyama. And in Expo 2027, we have a Satoyama space areas that the visitor can enjoy Satoyama and then do the activity on the ground. So next, please let me introduce Mr. Osamu Kubota, Deputy Assistant Minister, Expo and International Affairs Bureaus, Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, to present Japanese actions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for introductions. And my name is Kubota Osamu, Deputy Assistant Minister of Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, in short, MAF. First of all, I would like to thank everybody for joining us today. And as presentations, I would like make the presentation about what MAF is doing for their strategy for transitioning to the nature positive economy. It's mainly about Midori strategies. The next slide, please. Well, this is a COP30, climate change COP. So it must be nice to begin with why is that biodiversity being discussed at this COP30. In short, I think that climate change and biodiversity influences each other's. Obviously, the climate change affect biodiversity, and conversely, that biodiversity is very important for the climate change actions. Next slide, please. As for the MAF's strategies, we have developed so-called Midori strategies. It is a comprehensive strategy for transitioning to sustainable food system. And it's, of course, it includes a nature positive element or biodiversity element. And in these strategies, we established 14 key performance indicators, some of them shown here. And for example, 50% reduction in chemical pesticide, 30% reduction in chemical fertilizer use, increase in organic farming to 1 million hectares. I think those are the very much relevant to the today's topic, to the nature positive. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Relieved, yeah. This is the Midori strategies approach. We focused on each stage of the supply chain, like input, production, processing, and distributions, consumptions, and stipulate what we expected them to do in their stage in the supply chains, like for the consumption side, communication with consumers is important, and doing reducing food and loss waste communication is important, and that is written here, which is included in Middle East strategies. Next slide, please. We have there are also the strategies specifically to biodiversities. MAF has developed biodiversity strategy of the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries. And as while the Middle East strategy defines the overall policy directions, this strategy, the biodiversity strategy, is more detailed, and the focus is on concrete measures concerning biodiversities. And well, 6 basic policies is included here, like conservation, biodiversity, ecosystem service in rural area, reduce the impact of agriculture, forestry, and fisheries, make efforts throughout the supply chain, promote understanding, pursue the greening of policy approach, strengthen the implementation system. Next slide, please. Let me introduce some of the concrete measures related to biodiversity. One is choice, we call it. It's a visualizations of farmers' action to reduce environmental burden, to promote consumers' choice. In word, it's a labeling system. It's labeling the products produced in the biodiversity ways. On the right-hand side is nationally certified, sustainably managed national site. I think the Vice Minister Doyle has already touched upon this system, but what we want from the Ministry of Agriculture point of view, we want to emphasize that almost over the 80% of certified areas is related to the agriculture, forestry, and fisheries. Next slide, please. And the last slide, and I think it's a very important slide for today's theme. It's about the Green EXPO. The theme of the expo is Scenery of the Future for Happiness. It's aimed to achieve carbon neutrality and nature positivity through nature-based solutions in the circular economy. And it is a horticulture, but it's a green expo, so it's I think its scope is very large. That it shows like here that wisdom and the philosophy of living in harmony with nature, or green structure. Right-hand side, we put out the smart agriculture technology side, which is also the scope of this expo. And I very much looking forward to everyone to participate in this sensational event. And that's all from me, and thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kubota. Just so that we could not show the movie today due to the technical issues, but this one, maybe the camera can zoom in. This is the expected site. As I said, 100 hectares. It's quite huge. In the case of Japan, combining Disneyland and then Disney Sea. So you can imagine how big it is. And as Mr. Kubota mentioned, we focus on the agriculture as well. Food farm and food villages. And also you can see here, we expect rice field in the expo. It's quite unique to our expo, I'm sure. So next, I like to have all panelists on the stage at this point. Could you kindly proceed? And just one remark. We are very sorry that we knew that the representative from Qatar could not make it today, but actually we met their representative on the way to Brazil here in Qatar this Sunday. And then they shared their message to us. So Qatar is the last host country of the International Horticulture Expo 2023. And they are quite happy that we will take over their legacy, sustainable green city, to our Yokohama. And they really focus on sustainability on the site. And also really try to send a message post SDGs and 2030, how important the green is. So, and also they mentioned that they will do their best on their pavilion, of course, as well as add the value to the expo itself. So all in all, at this point, I like to have Miss Ellie Otu, co-CEO of Otu Farm, to deliver the presentation. Floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. So from Brazil, my name is Eri Otsu, and I and my husband, can you hear me? Yeah. I and my husband are organic rice farmer in Japan. And we have been farming for 23 years today, this year. Our goal is to keep the landscape through agriculture. That's why we call ourselves landscape farmers. And I'd like to introduce something more about this. And this is our farmland. Our farm is in southern island of Japan called Kyushu. Sorry. We grow rice and maybe next slide, please. Yeah. In the middle of the Kyushu area. And we grow rice with none or little pesticides and local specific cattle called red cows. We sell our rice directly to the customs without through any markets. And after harvesting, rice straw will always be collected and cows eat. And the manure will be composted and brought back to the field next spring. Next slide, please. The paddy fields provides very ideal habitat to many species and support biodiversities. That's why I believe it's not too much saying that it's a nature positive farming. And we're practicing, we are practicing nature positive farming. And I do know that paddy fields emit methane gas, but it is true too. But rice farming has been started long before industrial revolutions, and we could and have been producing crop every year, which means sustainably. Considering the rice paddy fields provides habitats to the biodiversity, I think we should not measure the value of paddy fields only because of the greenhouse gas emissions. And paddy fields also support rich biodiversity. Not only that, but land and groundwater conservation, culture provides attractive satoyama biotope, and not only rice paddy fields, but also other agricultural fields like agroforestry in Brazil and meadows, etc., can be biotope when it's managed in eco-friendly way. Next slides, please. In addition to nature positive farming, our farm has been trying to offset our emission in various ways. We are the small size farmers, but there is things that we can still do. For example, by using biodiesel to our tractors and harvester, and instead of fossil fuel, and also installing EV, because in rural areas we drive a lot. and also installing firewoods to heat our house. So in total, we are practicing not only carbon neutral, but even carbon negative farm. And in general, next slide, please. Rural areas provide paradise not only for the biodiversity, but also for children. These are my children. They can have enough space and to learn how to coexist with natures in their childhood. So I myself grown up in Tokyo, so I really envy them, my children, having this environment. And you cannot compare real Satoyama, half semi and natural environment with artificial parks. So as a result of traditional farming, especially in next slide, please, sorry. So this is the way we are doing practicing sustainable and also valuable farming in Aso area, which is designated in GIAS, globally important agriculture heritage system from FAO. But I'll skip that because it's I only have 1 minute, less than 1 minute left. As of SDGs, next slide, please. As being agri-woman, I think these 17 goals can be targeted from agri-women because it also includes gender problem. I won't go further this way, but not like companies that do this and this goal, but we are the one who can be like contributing for all the targets and for SDGs. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Eri-san. I do believe she really shared a very important point. Somehow the agriculture is nature negative, but through this kind of wisdom and action, it can be carbon negative farming could realize. That's quite important message. And at least if I see that this scenery, this is definitely the scenery for the happiness. So I'm sure the agriculture will be the key role in our expo as well. So anyway, next I'd like to have Takamasa Nakanishi, President and the CEO Ag Biotech. Please proceed.
Hello and welcome. I'm Takamasa Nakanishi from MLIT based in Tokyo, Japan. We are a company who work with farmers and promote environmentally friendly agriculture, food education, and conservation. Our goal is simple, to create healthy, happy lives by change agriculture practice. Next, please. Here is the Earth Health Report. As all of you might be familiar, this is a planetary boundary framework. Since agriculture contributes to nearly 80% of these impacts, improving how we farm, it's not optional, it's essential. Next, please. Now let's look at our solution for addressing the planetary boundaries. Our unique distribution platform called the Bio Alliance. This alliance is centered around agribiotech and brings together three main parties. First, farmers practice agriculture that is good for the environment. Second, franchisee partners sell and market these eco-friendly products. And third, company and consumers buy these products to support sustainable living. This partnership makes eco-friendly farming profitable and builds a sustainable future for food and farming. Next, please. The Twister Initiative, led by the MAP, helps concept farmers and consumers credibly. Our company is the main private partner that unites the Twister standard throughout our entire supply chain. We utilize a system that communicates the guaranteed environment commit of our product from the farm to the consumer. So far, we have successfully distributed 300,000 of food units and certified choice star vegetables. We are confident that expanding the use of this certification will further promote environmentally friendly culture. Next, please. Next, we are also education in creating carbon credit through environmentally friendly agriculture. Our project has two clear goals: to enhance local environment conditions through environmentally friendly farming and ensure revenue sharing with local communities. This initiative adopts better VCS methodology, ensuring our credit are certified under rigorous global criteria. We have already started activity across a total of 25,000 hectares in Japan and India. The project in Indonesia and Malaysia are set to start in 2026. Additionally, we plan to expand projects across all 6 countries, including Argentina and here in Brazil. Through this international expansion, we aim to achieve both emission reduction in agriculture and the economic self-reliance of local communities. Next, please. Finally, we would like to discuss the future of biodiversity credit. Our work is not just about cutting down GHG. The sustainable farming method also improves the tiny life and diversity with the soil. By taking actions such as incorporating organic matter into the soil, we help soil particles bind together to form aggregates. These healthy aggregates allow the soil to enhance its nutrient cycling functions, reduce the reliance on chemicals. As a result, crops grow naturally because the soil manages water and nutrients well on its own. That's all the time we have today. Thank you for listening. We look forward to exchange of ideas with you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nakanishi. Biotech business is quite important to connecting field to the economy, and also very important the global business expansion. It's quite urgent need in especially developing countries as well. And so, lastly, I'd like to have Dr. Diana Uje-Borsat, Vice Chair IPCC and a Professor of Central European University. Please, floor is yours.
First of all, thank you very much for the invitation. It's a real privilege to be here and represent the IPCC and having a very frequent collaboration with the government of Japan, but also on my personal capacity as a professor. The reason why I'm wearing pink is because it's Women's Day today, so I encourage everyone to also wear. So I was asked to do this, and it's really exciting to have a few words after these excellent presentations, because what I'm going to show how the IPCC actually showed in science exactly some of the principles that are already being applied in Japan. So what I want to do is I'm going to go through 3 reports and show some of the results from 3 of our reports. So please, next slide. So the first report I want to highlight from is our special report on land, which we published in the previous cycle 2019. And you don't have to read everything, just focus on the land management and the right 3 columns. And what you see here is exactly, so what we are doing here in the land report, we have collected all the different mitigation options that are available for us to reduce carbon emissions related to land and also perhaps capture carbon. And what you see here in the right-hand 3 columns exactly are the activities that either are in already the ministry policies or which are already being done by farmers and already which are implemented by Japanese companies. So, for example, improved cropland management, improved grazing land management, improved livestock management, agroforestry, agricultural diversification, reduced grassland conversion, forest management, and so on. But of course, the most important is perhaps what you see on the top of the 3rd column, which is increased soil organic content, because most of the activities that you talked about will have very important impact. And I will show you what the science says, how incredibly important that is in terms of the carbon and emissions as well. But also, we are only nature positive. Not only do we reduce soil erosion, but actually we improve the soil to be much more resilient to erosion as a result of extreme climate event impact. So next slide, please. So the next slide I'm sharing, and I know it's again very complex, that unfortunately all IPCC figures are complex, but don't worry, I'll just show you what I want you to look at. So this is the summary for policymakers of our synthesis report of the previous cycle. That means it's just 7 figures from the entire 10,000 pages of hundreds of authors. And within that, this is one of the key figures. So what you see, I would like you to just to focus on the left-hand side. What you see there are the different mitigation options in terms of their cost effectiveness, and that's by color, and also by their potential to reduce carbon emissions. And you see there are there are some better and so many, all of these options have big potential, which are identified here. But among the largest are actually exactly the ones that you're looking at today. So I want you to look at the second batch of those, so which are kind of orangey red, and maybe you can't see them, but it's actually about the second one is the carbon sequestration in agriculture. And also the third one, ecosystem restoration, afforestation, and reforestation. So the second one is basically soil carbon. And what you see that among all our mitigation options, that basically has the 3rd biggest potential globally. So soil is incredibly important. So all what you're doing, improving soil and soil carbon, organic carbon content, is extremely important from a global mitigation perspective as well. Next slide, please. So we have many ways to increase soil organic matter in cropland, and that's exactly some of these what is already being done, what you mentioned. For example, I don't want to go through all of them because it's already being mentioned, but for example, rice. We recognize that rice is very important, not only also for the soil, but also for reducing methane emissions. So it will be very interesting that the Green Expo is going to have an own rice field. I'm really looking forward to. I hope I will manage to see that myself with my eyes, because that has a global, huge significance if we can improve rice cultivation even just a little bit towards nature positivity. And the next slide, please. While next slide is coming up, I want to say that I looked through all our reports for the words nature positive. Unfortunately, I have not found them. So Japan, but we do focus on biodiversity and many ecological impacts, but we are not yet focusing in IPCC on nature positiveness. So I hope that with Japan running ahead of us or leading the way, then hopefully we will be able to incorporate the positive experiences of Japanese farmers and Japanese policy for nature positivity. So this is my final slide. It is also from our special report on land. What you see here again are different options, and the options, hopefully now you can actually read. The options are the options which capture several integrated approaches to reduce soil degradation, to improve agriculture, mitigate emissions. And what you see again, the second most important is increased soil organic carbon. And what is interesting, you see the different colors or where we can do that. So the amazing thing about that is that you can improve soil organic carbon almost basically every type of land, except of course for white forests, because they already have very, very high or saturated organic content. But if you look at even the last little tiny gray part of the bar on the second one, that is dense settlements, and Japan has many dense settlements, but you can even make a difference, even improving the soil organic carbon content, even in dense settlements. So that's a really interesting conclusion from that report, but everywhere it's one of the major opportunities. So, and of course, it also improves global food security. So here we are really looking at options which improve many different goals together. So just to summarize, it's a very important panel. I'm very much looking forward to the discussions, how to integrate both climate change, why we are here, climate action, why we are here, both resilience and emission reductions and emissions removals, together with nature and the concept of being nature positive. It's very welcome that it is so much at such a high level in Japan, and I hope that will help also the IPCC to put these two concepts very high level in the 7th assessment cycle. So thank you for the invitation, and I look forward to further discussions. Thank you.
And Diana-san, thank you so much to show us really dynamics of IPCC works. And I do believe it's quite important to visualize the phenomenon so that we can understand what exactly going on and then what measures we need to take. So, and also through the Green EXPO 2027, we'd like to really look for the legacy to deliver to young generation, even next generations. To make a legacy, we do believe we need the power of academia. So if there is any way we can work with IPCC, that would be really great. So, and this time, I'd like to start the discussion now. So thank you very much for the all presentation and the insight to share with us. And so I really understood that there are several points to take a note. And there are three key important factors. First, integration. Integration, the activities on the ground through the value chain and the economy, or and consumers even. And also integration with multiple businesses, agriculture practitioner, and also business, government, and then scientists. So these kind of integration would be quite important. And then second, beyond integration, need a collaboration to act together to make something different. And then lastly, to do so, it's quite important to have a power of science and technology, or if I say data, so that, as I said, it's easy to understand, to consider what should do. So all in all, I like to ask our first question to everybody. So considering such viewpoint, how could your activity or intervention generate large scale of impact? Everybody mentions what you do and then what kind of impact you'd like to generate. But further, how do you strengthen your activities to make a larger impact? Or if I say the other way, what is the difficulty? What the difficult point to make it happen for your own activities and businesses? So let's maybe let me ask Mr. Nakanishi first.
Our bioalliances includes all parties, farmers, companies, and consumers. It helps make a nature positive world and stronger business at the same time. However, we have a challenge in Asia. Farmlands are very diverse and the soil and farming ways are different, so we need to connect the data from these small farms in remote areas. To solve this issue, we will link related information from farm groups and carry out more soil study. By doing so, we will grasp a whole picture of the land use and build a way to keep sustainable farming going for a long time.
Thank you very much. You really hit the point. You really try to promote integration from even the Asian small-scale farmer to the businesses, economy, and then with the power of technology and the data. That's quite an important way to really scale up the actions to come. Maybe next, maybe I can ask Miss Edison.
Thanks. That's kind of why I'm here today. The farmers are usually at ground. There's also time that we still have something to do in the farmland, but because alone, I don't think we can change this whole movement of society. And on the 10th, the first day of the COP30, we made an event on the agri-zone, calling or making declaration that there's things that we can still do as a farmer to stop global warming. Not because we are organic farmers or not, big size or not. Yeah, as I said in my presentations, I think the way we think farmers' attitude to that we do our best. Governments have their own roles and companies too, but farmers are the one who really have influence from the climate changes. So we are the one who should do our best to stop global warming too. But on the other hand, farmers are producers or makers. If society wants us to be sustainably or nature positive way of farming, we can switch ourselves really quickly. If we have to produce foods and also promote people or try to spread this idea to the customers, this might be too much. If the customers or the consumers change or society needs us to be sustainable, we are the one who are ready to do this.
Thank you very much. Maybe the time for Mr. Kubota, how the government can really support or promote this kind of action from the ground. And also, yes, any.
I think from the government point of view, what is the your question is that what is the biggest challenge for us to be that what's the biggest challenge doing those things like climate change actions or of course biodiversity actions in agricultural sector is that we have two objectives. One is to achieve the food security and also for the GHG reduction or biodiversity conservation, which sometimes have contradiction each other. So if you took the measures to reduce GHG emissions or conserving biodiversity, the production is sometimes get lower, which means the risk for the food security, and that is the problem. And one of the solution is that using the innovations innovation that can reduce GHG gas or conserve the biodiversity, but maintains their productivity or even increase the productivity. One solution is using the innovations. And also, what I think personally important is that you said about the integrations, but it's integrations about consumers and producers, because sometimes doing the GHG reduction measures or the biodiversity conservation measures will rise the cost, which is which is not preferable for the consumers, and the consumers will tend to go for the product that more cost effective, which is not produced by such ways. But so what government we are doing? I have presented my presentations, and well, with biotech is doing well with that is choice, which is a labeling system that that will be, I think, one of the communications way to integrate consumers and producers. And if the consumers have by doing this, I think some consumers will go for more eco-friendly product, and that will make something different. And that is, I think, another way for the government to do these things.
Thank you very much. There are really keyword innovation, the communication among multi-stakeholders. That is quite important point. And also synergy and trade-offs. That's actually a big question to EXPO as well, because EXPO itself, we need to develop the land. So we shall, emit the carbon, of course, and the people come to the site by, consuming greenhouse gases. But at the same time, for instance, for EXPO, we try to develop the land using green infrastructure, really utilize the power of nature to really better land use, and also many exhibitions from innovation aspect as well. So there is really a need to keep balance, but maybe this is a synergy and trade-offs aspect, and also so far, any comment?
Yes, thank you very much. It has been, all the keywords are mentioned, integration, and now you also just mentioned synergies and cost. So if perhaps you remember one of my slides when from the synthesis report, Summary for Policymakers, showed how incredibly important soil organic carbon is. But that time I didn't emphasize, but there the bar was a bit more orange and red than many others. That meant the costs seemed to be a bit higher than many other options. But that's only because we only measure the climate impact separately, or the climate cost separately from, for example, the nature cost. If we integrate these two and we recognize that, well, it doesn't, if you improve your soil carbon content, it doesn't only draw carbon out of the atmosphere, but it improves the health of the soil. It improves the product, the agriculture product healthiness, and it's also more resilient because if you have a better soil, it's more resilient to extreme climate events. But it's also to be nature positive. You need to restore your soil. So if we could integrate all these different costs together, then immediately the cost per ton of carbon would not seem very high. So it's really crucial that we don't think in silos, but we think together. Now, and this is why it's really another very important visionary from the Japanese government, because they also very strongly support working on synergies. And for example, we have the United Nations expert group on synergies between climate change and sustainable development goals. We have presented several of our reports in the SDG pavilion. And again, we always have the Japanese government on our sides because they recognize the importance of leveraging these synergies. Because ultimately it's about cost, right? Because it was just mentioned that more eco-friendly or nature-positive products could cost more, which the consumers may not want. But it would be really important to try to have these costs not necessarily bear either by the more sustainable producer, who then will solve both our climate issues and contribute to our restoring our nature, but this cost would be shared all around society. For example, through carbon markets, or for example, the new ideas are also biodiversity markets and credits for biodiversity. Of course, that's a more newer concept, but still it's starting. And that would enable to how to scale up these more productive, more nature positive businesses and also products which are being on the market. So I hope that these are going to happen more. But for that, we need to measure this. And this is very quickly just our small advertisement for a new report, which we just approved 2 weeks ago, that the IPCC will have a methodology report on carbon dioxide removal, carbon capture and utilization and storage. So how to measure that the soils also take the carbon, not only does this kind of agriculture and horticulture we're talking about not only reduce emissions, but it's also taking out carbon and storing carbon. So how can we measure this? How can we convert these values into marketable products that perhaps can be sold on the market and valued by industries, for example, and credited? So this is exactly towards the very smart Japanese business-based approach, which can lead us much further towards scaling up the solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you really went straight to the point. Everything about the cost, but that's actually true. And also measure what matters. That's quite famous among these climate societies. But it's quite difficult to value the nature. If they're too low evaluated, it's gonna be destroyed because it's cheap. So in that sense, I do believe Mr. Nakanishi's business really tried to make a biodiversity credit. It's gonna be a big challenge. But at this point, I like to maybe ask Eri-san, because she mentioned about the value of nature. The nature is not only how can I say, nature has so many aspects as a value. For instance, eco-DRR, the function for disaster risk reduction, and also contribution to the well-being. And Edison promoting landscape. I believe that related to this kind of intangible value. Maybe you can give us your insight or any response to presentations?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to make a new category called landscape farming, because farmers in general, not all of course, but to make a profit, it's easier to have a greenhouse to develop high value crops. But it's of course also important, but the land use crops like rice, soybeans, corns, wheat, and everything, those are the crops which cover the land. And by covering the land, we are also protecting the land size, or like groundwater going into the ground. So it needs to be evaluated as landscape farming, which is as well as the same meaning as land use crops. So in other ways, if we young farmers tend to seek for the profit with the high value only, it cannot be good connection with the nature positive. It only can be done with the land use crops too. But these crops are usually low value in the market. So this is how maybe biodiversity credit or carbon credit can be implemented as biochar and everything. So we need to stop accusing agriculture as the causes of biogas emission, methane emission and also greenhouse emission. We need to think how we can support people's food security as well as well-being for biodiversity and for the human beings. So we need the new category. And for doing that, we need the data. The governmental negotiation can be done by data, but small farmers are hard to access for the data. We do have our laborers in small areas, small to middle, but the farmers in general is hard to collect our data, how support our nature positive or biodiversity, and also absorbing
greenhouse gases. But it would be great if we automatically collected and be accounted as directly to the farmers the additional value as not as an agricultural product, but evaluate as environmentally friendly value. So did I make it smart?
Yes, yes, thank you so much. Maybe Diana-san or Kubota-san, do you have any response to it?
Well, about data, it's critically important, as the previous speakers said, and doing everything. It's based on the data. That's for sure. Like labeling system choice, its data is important, critically important to make the credibility of the labeling. And in this area as well, I think the innovation is going on, that many startups coming this area using satellite and measure the GHG emissions or other measures. So also in this area, the innovation is important, and we are. As for what we are doing, we are supporting this kind of private activity as well to make the crisis support package.
Yes, thank you. So that's excellent points made that there is enormous fast development in terms of data collection and monitoring, especially through satellite data, both for soil organic content emissions and methane emissions and all of that. So more and more it will be possible and less costly, and so more affordable for even a company perhaps to measure their own impact in this regard. But again, measuring is critical, but first we have to create the value so that these contributions, both to nature and to climate, are valued. But and that's really critically important. We see the impacts all around, and it is already impacting exactly our food production, food security. For example, in Hungary, 3 years ago, we had a bigger drought. It raised or it very much contributed to raising grain prices because our corn, maize crop failed. 3/4 of it failed. So in the end, it resulted in quite high inflation in, first of all, just bakery products. So bread, which is very important to Europe, that's like rice in Japan. For us, bread is as important. So that fueled further total inflation. And that's so people really feel, but there is very little people don't really make the connection. That's actually one of the key reasons why you have inflation, is because we had some extreme events, which are, to large extent, are definitely exacerbated by climate change. So I think making the connections and equally being able to bring enough food or keeping productivity in agriculture means you need the good soil. Without good soil, we will not be able to keep the productivity. But good soil depends on that's what quality depends on. So we do need to value this. And I just want to reflect on one thing. It was very interesting that you mentioned that we shouldn't be blaming agriculture anymore. The reason why it is because because I hear it also in Hungary exactly the same. So what are we doing wrong that big farmers feel that we are, or anyone is blaming this sector? And I have not heard this in any other sector, industry, and anywhere. So it's even, of course, emissions happen everywhere, but food is the basic of our lives. So anyone feeling that their activity is being blamed for climate change, that's really problematic. So I hope we can correct that because it's clearly not one farmer. It's not one country, but it's a global phenomenon then, because and even if you look at our scenarios, and if you look at our NDCs presented here, one area where we are not able to go to net zero, except for okay, let's go zero, because the net we can always do with renewables, but to complete zero is agriculture. You need that for food production, especially for rice, but for also other, we cannot avoid some emissions. So clearly we cannot do blaming. So I think we also need a societal awareness of the incredible value that agriculture, more horticulture, and nature positive is doing. So it's really so the expo is really welcome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for mentioning EXPO, because I do believe that the data or the value of agriculture, consumer need to know. So they will even pay even higher prices. But anyway, for that, consumers, if I say or any person to know, EXPO is a great opportunity to get to the EXPO and then get to know about the value of nature and also value of agriculture, for instance. So as I said, we expect more than 10 million visitors, and we really love to show the innovation or any message from the ground in the expo. So lastly, I'd like to ask a question, or just I say just ask a comment. How would you like to leverage the opportunity of Green Expo 2027? What do you expect to that big occasion in Japan about, nature positive and carbon neutral, or what you want to do for that occasion? So maybe begin with Nakanishi-san.
We see Green Expo 2027 as a very important stage. It's key for everyone in the world to see global problems as their own and to make our shared natural resources last. Agribiotech want to use local clear systems like Choicer to spread the idea of nature impact as a gold standard. We hope this starts real talks and helps people and nations work together to move forward.
Thank you very much. So maybe Eddie-san, please follow. Okay, it's your time. Kubota-san, would you go ahead?
Well, public awareness is most important in those kind of more nature positive stuff. So it is a great opportunity to raise the public awareness for this green opportunity. And as I said in my presentation, this is a green expo, so it's not only the horticulture, but include all green related. And as you said, agriculture is surely the scope of this expo. So from Ministry of Agriculture, I would like to make more understanding to the agriculture sector in this case. And as Eri-san said, don't blaming agriculture, but praising the agriculture. That will be the chance to a good opportunity to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. How about Diana-san?
Yes, so I think the Green Expo will be extremely important, not only for Japan, but globally. But it is especially amazing that it happens in Japan, exactly because you have among the biggest cities in the world and more densely populated cities in the world where perhaps nature is the least prevalent. So I think that's where people are perhaps living the furthest from the cities. So to put on everybody's so because that we agree that that's how the whole process starts. That's the only way how we can really make a business case for this if everybody values nature. So I think that would be a very important outcome of this expo if all urban dwellers will also really value why they should care about nature and nature positive agriculture and land management in general. And I was really mesmerized by the interest of the Osaka Expo when I was there. I was there in the last week. I was privileged to have a talk, and really very impressive interest. And I'm so much looking forward to also the Green Expo. If it can generate equal interest, it will make a huge impact in the work. But I think that, so first make people, just said awareness, just to make people connect more to nature, and understand why it's important, but then show how it can be done by businesses. So showcasing positive examples, how you can, there is a business case for green technologies, green production methods. That's incredibly important, so that people can connect and get enthusiastic about that. So I'm very much looking forward to showing that, because we are businesses, we will not be able to solve this, and it's important that the Expo connects not only Japan, but also green businesses around the world, and share experiences, see how you can profit from improving nature, good agriculture. And I think one key for this will be health. So connecting all of this to health, because people may not be able to relate that easily to just nature. But if we know now, there is so much evidence how the quality of our food connects to our health, how the microbiome, how the microbially rich agriculture products in the end make our immune system better. So all of that, if we make that connection, I think it will be easier also to make a stronger business case for why it's incredibly important to have nature positive agriculture, horticulture, and forestry. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Connecting and showcase. You said about showcasing and business, but I think from the government view, it's a great chance to showcase our policies as well. So as I explained, we have doing a lot of things, and we need the understanding of the people to what we are doing, and beyond that, we need the collaboration for the people. So it's not only the business. I think the policies and maybe individual farmers can great chance to communicate with the people what they are doing. They are doing very, very, very good things in many places. So that's one of the our expectation in the expo, and also connecting not all the sectors is as well, not only the country, but all the sectors is the chance for the expo.
Thank you very much,
Sorry.
Mike. No,
Sorry for that.
thank you so much for encouraging messages. Maybe Edi-san wrap up here.
And I'm ready. Sorry to taking time, because I wasn't expecting anything from Expo. Too much saying, but like the big event, the COP, Osaka Expo, Green Expo, the farmers have less things to do, actually. That's the reality. Sorry. But now I was thinking in this short time that many people love sushi, miso shiru, and like the Japanese foods are very loved from the world. So I want Green Expo to be the connector of washoku and the farmer agriculture in Japan, which produce the materials for the washoku. And also the word of Satoyama, which is semi-natural, or the natural environment which is maintained by the human beings, will be very much known that I really want. This is the first point, that the expo will be connectors of the foods, including food security, but also food culture with agriculture, and also the connector Satoyama and urban, many consumers in urban cities. The second point is I want Expo to be a starting point of proposing Asian standards, because not saying wrong about the European or American styles of the degrees or category, but the biodiversity in monsoon Asia is not comparable with the Europeans biodiversity. It's different. So we have the different system, and also we have the parts with the monsoon and a tropical climate has supported the biodiversity, and we cannot only evaluate with the methane gas and greenhouses emissions. So together with the nature evaluating, I want the EXPO to be the standard Asian standard proposal.
Thank you so much. A lot of expectations. So to end the program, we pleased to have Mr. Itsuhiro Miura, Deputy Director General for City and Housing, Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transportation, and Tourism. Please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Miura from Ministry of Infrastructure. We call MLIT. As we come to the close of this seminar, I'd like to offer a few closing remarks. First of all, I'd like to extend my sincere appreciation to all of you for taking the time to participate in this seminar. Under the theme, Transition to Nature Positive Society, Leveraging Green EXPO 2027. Today, discussions explored both the importance and the challenges of moving toward a nature-positive society with concrete examples in climate change adaptation, biodiversity conservation, and green food strategies. While much of the conversation is centered on the future of agriculture, it has broadly recognized that our daily lifestyles and business efforts also play an important role in advancing this transition. With regard to nature-positive initiatives in urban areas, MLIT is promoting two complementary approaches, securing green spaces led by the public sector and enhancing both the quality and quantity of greenery developed by private companies through urban development projects. In particular, for the private sector, a new certification system was launched last year, under which the Minister of MLIT evaluates and certifies green spaces created by developers and other entities. As of now, 19 such initiatives have been certified. As for Green EXPO 2027, the event is now less than a year and a half away. Unlike previous expos that primarily showcased flowers and greenery, the Green EXPO will take a broader perspective, addressing global environmental challenges, including the realization of a nature-positive society. The venue itself will embody green infrastructure, making full use of existing forests and topography, while domestic and international exhibitors will present innovative green technologies and initiatives. We are committed to making this expo a platform for sharing the very kinds of practical and forward-looking efforts discussed here today. It is our sincere hope that many people will participate and that the event will serve as a powerful catalyst for building a truly nature-positive society. In closing, I hope that the insights and the outcomes of today's seminar will inspire and support your future activities. We will continue to advance preparation towards the success of hosting Green EXPO 2027. I very much look forward to welcoming all of you to Yokohama in 2027. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So by this remark, I'd like to close the session, but I'm sure that we can work together for the scenery of the future for happiness from now on. Thank you so much, and see you in Yokohama in 2027. Thank you.